There is something so romantic and dreamy about being an artist, going out in the world to sketch life as it folds in front of you and in public. But nowadays when I'm outside, I see a lot more people scrolling, and I just want to live in a world where I'll walk somewhere and every day I can spot at least one human sketching, whether on park benches, in coffee shops, or serene gardens. But I know that confidence in drawing, especially in front of others, takes time to build. I want to share my thoughts on what it means to sketch in public, the fears that come with it, and how you can step into this practice with more ease and one step closer to feeling like you can draw anywhere. Oftentimes when I read comments, I hear stories of people saying, "I wish I could do that, but I'm too scared." Or people who say, "I don't know where to start or how to start." And I get it. In school, I'd literally draw on anything. I'd draw on my homework, my essays, planners, sticky notes, even if it was never really that socially acceptable. But as soon as I left the confines of home or a classroom, when it came to the real world, it didn't feel right. In fact, it was kind of terrifying. But the reality is that there are genuinely obstacles. It's not as if there are signs physically around you that say, "You can't draw," but there is genuinely a mental barrier that said, "You can't draw," for whatever reason in my head. There were thoughts of, what if someone sees my art and thinks it's ugly? No one else around me is drawing. And also, what if the cafe owner comes up to me and says, "You can't draw here"? Which, by the way, has never happened, but I was convinced it was going to happen.
My leg is completely asleep. Oh my god, touching it is so painful. Or pins and needles.
And here's the thing. It took me years to just realize I had these thoughts and fears at all. I thought something was wrong with me. Like, people are literally reading books casually in a cafe. Why can't I do that too? Why is it that what looks effortless to others was so difficult for me? And I think a huge part of it is not our fault. The world around us is not the friendliest to artists. I had teachers hate me for drawing in their class, and it's so rare to see other people sketching anywhere else. But just because people aren't, doesn't mean we shouldn't. For anyone looking for a place to start, I think art museums are genuinely fantastic. It just feels like a haven, and I often can find such an inspirational escape in these places. You are in a space where people are paying money to come and see art, a place where it's people's jobs to protect art, where the security guard is taught that canvas, pencil, and oil is more precious than gold or diamonds. Also, it's just such a vibe to be an art student in an art museum. I think every artist low-key feels like a celebrity walking through a museum, like, oh, they don't know, I'm an artist.
I am losing my mind over this pillow. Because the way that you painted the pillow, if you go up really close, it's like a whole bunch of a smattering of brush strokes. But when you step back, I know the fact that it's like something that's shimmery, it's satiny.
Here, people love, adore, and respect art. It's such a deeply human thing, and something so precious that entire institutions and fortunes go into preserving them for years and years, whether it's documentation of cave paintings, or sketches from the 1800s, or elaborate oil paintings. And as an artist, when sitting at a museum, I feel so safe to draw an environment where people appreciate art the most. Have we forgotten the fact that it used to be so normal to just be outside with canvas or paper and graphite and to be sketching and drawing? Things like fashion and architecture changed so much, but when I see these sketches hung up, maybe subject matter has changed, but I could easily see someone sketching the same way today.
1824. First of all, the guy only lived 32 years, which is really, really sad. But they were sketching all in 1824. This is what people just did. People just did that.
This is one of my favorite paintings that I saw today, the Floor Scrapers. And the painter, Gustave Caillebotte, had to go in person and sketch real floor scrapers as study and practice for the real thing. Caillebotte was from the Impressionist movement, where he, like his counterparts Monet, Degas, he would be outside trying to capture the life that they saw onto their own canvas. There are no photograph references, no Pinterest, no mood boards, just good old real life and the eyes Mother Nature blessed you with. And each of these sketches are hung and framed as if they're just as precious as the real deal, to which I'd argue they are. One day, perhaps, historians will take our colorful sketchbooks and frame them upon walls, and someone in the distant future will walk past and go, "Oh wow, that's what life was like back then."
So apparently in that building over there's a Van Gogh exhibit, and one of the pieces in the exhibit is Van Gogh's irises. And that's one of my favorite paintings of Van Gogh. And you know how people get super excited about like concerts? I get like super excited about seeing a painting in person.
The plaques for this piece say that Van Gogh was in the fields as he was painting the irises, and I can totally imagine him in the fields with his canvas in mind, focused on nothing else but being in the moment with his paints. An artist, truly, to the core. Ultimately, the biggest thing I find holding me back from running into the fields with a giant canvas and paints is judgment. And trespassing laws, but mainly fear of judgment.
That's really cool, actually.
The truth is that people don't care what you're doing. Not everyone cares about art. Some people do, and some people don't. Do you remember everything and everyone you saw today? Probably not, because it's just not physically possible.
So at security, they actually confiscated my watercolor brush pens. So I think that it is very ironic that they are selling watercolor brush pens here in the museum store. What gives?
If you're afraid of judgment, that is so normal. But here's the thing. They'll judge you regardless of what you do. If you stand still and do absolutely nothing, they'll still judge you. So I'd rather them judge me and see me for what I want to be seen. An artist. I want to tell artists out there that what you do is so cool. Art is a skill of hard work and dedication. Not everyone can bear sitting down and observing something to the minutia. You may not be at the skill level you'd like to be at, but to any normal Joe, you are still leagues beyond their stick figures. And in my personal opinion, sketching is still so much cooler than looking at your phone. Before you head out to sketch in public, we gotta talk about expectations. Not only other people's expectations, but your own, because that's the one that really matters. I remember the first time I tried sketching at a restaurant, and my hands were low-key shaking. Doing anything for the first time is hard. So having the expectation that you'll easily do it is only gonna make it harder. Applaud yourself for giving it a try, regardless of the outcome. Also, a trap I once fell into was looking at social media and comparing my sketches to all those amazing sketchbook spreads out there. Everything out there looks like finished artwork. I promise, letting go of that perfectionism and focus on being present in the moment will make it so much more fun. If your food is here, eat the food. You can finish the sketch later. And yes, you can always fix it up afterwards. Don't let the glamour of social media cloud what you should be able to do in an hour or two. Hello and welcome to Inventory Intermission, because this segment is specifically for the one person in the comments who's always going to ask, what do you use? And as always, I got you. So in terms of materials for drawing, I'm using the same materials that I always do in terms of drawing, which is colored pencil, Mildliners, and then here is the Zig Clean Color Brush Pen. But I want to show you some, as always, some other materials that are more interesting. Next, I want to show you what I use to scrapbook things together, because I want to normalize not having to draw every single thing in your sketchbook, because I love being able to take little scraps and details and memories and mementos and put it into my sketchbook. So this, let me show you. This is the Gloo, Gloo glue stick. And what's super cool about this is that it is a square glue stick. Look at that, it's square. And this way you can really get the corners of whatever you're trying to glue down. Now I'm gonna place this right here. Then I want to show you some of the stickers that I usually like to use, or some of the stickers that I've been really loving. This is super cute. This is called the Hunter seafood stickers, and it comes in like a little box. One of my friends recently got this for me. And there's a whole bunch of different fish stickers inside this box. It's just the cutest experience of opening it ever. Also, if you ever find this in a stationery store, totally recommend which are just really normal round sticker dots. Because they're watercolor, they're just so versatile. You can put them as to anything. And it just adds like a cute little pop of color, and it's like a perfect circle, it's a perfect dot. And I think it just adds a lot more charm to the piece as a whole. Hope that helps, and happy sketching! Every time that I draw outside, not only is it something that I love to do, it's also a little confirmation to me that, yes, I am an artist, and I want to show up in the world as one. I'm doing the exact same thing that so many legendary artists before me did, and many legendary artists will do long after me. I want to be in a world where more people stop, observe, and sketch their surroundings. So why not grab a sketchbook and give it a try?